Hey guys, it is me, Camozombie 15, and today we're going to be ranking every item in Super Roblox KART. Now, this sounds like a tough task, yes, and you're right, it is a tough task, but I decided to tackle it because why not? So, right now, I have a list of all, and when I say all, I mean all the Super Roblox KART items, all 60 items here, in a random order, so as to be as judgmental free as possible while being judgmental. So we got, I believe, 8 tiers here. Let me see, we got S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, F tier, worst item ever, and best item ever, which is getting moved up right now. Boom, best item ever. So only one item can go in the first and last category. Everything else is sandwiched in the middle there. 8 categories. So let's start off with the golden fire flower. Well, golden fire flower is mediocre at best. It's a decent item. It's a decent C tier. It just shoots one projectile and then it explodes, but most of the time it's on the edge of the track or it falls off. Nuke, on the other hand, is S tier, instant S tier, man. Like, you can't not say it's S tier. It's what bombs should be. You throw it, it homes in on somebody, and it blows them all up. And it has the nuke effect, which launches the people con the projectile straight up, and when they land, they start going again. That's the longest time you can be stopped with an item, so it's obviously S tier. Jumbo Bombs. Jumbo Bombs is a solid B tier item because it's what the bananas should be in a sense. So you drop it behind you to stop people from, getting the item box or getting the shortcut or whatever it is. Because if you run into it, it explodes, and if nobody runs into it, it eventually explodes, which makes it a good item. Next up, we have the red mushroom. The red mushroom is an average speed boost. You don't really have to worry about the speed boost wearing out if you run over a speed pad because it's only one, so it's average. I'd rather have that than the gold flower though. Alright, Spiny Shell. Spiny Shell is the blue shell, except, oops, not chain chomp. It's the blue shell, except it can't go over ledges. Low B tier. It's not going to be too high. It's just a homing item in a sense. Chain Chomp, A tier. You get to run people over and destroy them. It's not too bad. The only thing that draws it back is the speed boost thing, where if you go over a speed boost with it, you lose all speed and momentum altogether. And after that, it's just a cosmetic. So, A tier for now. Yoshi eggs, suck on my eggs. This is an A tier. This is an A tier. It's not as good as the Chain Chomp though. It's an A tier though because it drops 3 items and you can combo people in those items. I believe those 3 items are a shell, a Banzai Bill, and another shell. So it just blows people up and it's amazing to see it. I just like it. It's a good item, so there it will sit. Ooh, self explosion. I'm tempted. I am tempted. It will be, for now, the worst item ever. Why is it the worst item ever, you may ask? Well, think about it like this. It blows you up, which is something you don't want in a racing game. You don't want to lose speed in a racing game. It kills all your momentum, and it doesn't matter how many people there are in your little area. It just kills everybody, which is good, but that's not really good when, you're in first or second place and you have a lead. You kind of just have to hold on to it at that point, which limits you. So for that right now, it's the worst item ever. Blue coin. Blue coin is decent because it gives you 10 coins. But other than that, not really something I'd want. C tier. Hey, Camozombie 15. You're an F tier, man. Sorry. Not good at all. Not really good at all. I gotta be honest. Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt is an instant S tier. It's better than that. So for now, it'll be the best item ever. I probably should have put the nuke in best item ever for a second. Well, the best item ever right now is the lightning bolt because it does something that the nuke doesn't do. It shocks everybody except for yourself and makes everybody slower. It's probably one of the best items to grab at any position because it gives you the chance to pull away with the lead or just get faster and get farther ahead than everybody else. Black Shell. Black Shell is basically the green shell, but it explodes. Man, there are a lot of exploding items. Honestly, it's better than the Fire Flower, so it'll set at C tier. Tentamissiles, or as I like to call them, glitch missiles. D tier. Why D tier, you may ask? Well, they're not good. They do good stuff. They go after people, they target people, but they're so easy to dodge and so slow. It's not worth using, and sometimes it jams and you can't get it out of your inventory. But glitches aside, it's not that good. It's cool that they follow you around though. I like that. Hammer. Hammer is gonna be I'm debating between D and F here because D tier might be a little bit overboard. I'm gonna leave it in D tier. It's just below the Tentamissiles right now. Why? Because it does something once. That's it. You use the hammer once. It doesn't do much. Even the super horn does much more. Speaking of the super horn is just above it at D tier, sitting pretty. The super horn does what the hammer should do in the first place. It shoots out 2 to 3 shockwaves around opponents. Even though it's smaller, it does a lot more. So super horn's a little bit better than that. Gold Shell. Gold Shell is probably the best shell item that's not huge. I'll tell you what I mean later, but it's better than the spiked Spiny Shell because you throw it and that's it. There's no flying animation. There's no I'm gonna circle around you. It's just instant death. It does have a decent frenzy too. Mini double bombs. I'm gonna say this is C tier. I'd rather have all this than that. I'd rather have that than that. Let me just arrange it a little bit here. Honestly, nah, I'd rather have 10 coins more than that. Why is Babomb C tier when the other Babomb is B tier? It's the same gimmick, right? Well, the regular Babombs are smaller, so go figure. Rainbow Star. S tier instantly. I'd rather have that than pretty much every item in the game. It's hard to say. I want to put it in best item ever. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in best item ever for right now. For the time being, it is the best item ever. Why? Because it does something that most of the other things can't, which is give you a consistent boost that lasts really long. It keeps you going fast. It's invincibility, so you knock people over, and it really doesn't affect you that much if you go over a speed boost. And it has enough speed where it can outmatch and outclass the Golden Chain Chomp, in my opinion. So that's where it'll stay for right now. Next up is the Missile Bill. I think that's its name. Instant A tier. Just above the Yoshi Egg. Actually, no, right behind the Yoshi Egg. Because it fires and it just starts going. But it can get stopped by ledges or if they're at an angle. So I feel like the Yoshi Egg's better in that respect. Alright, Giant Banana. Giant Banana is a step up from the regular banana. And what you do with bananas and items like the banana is you drop them in front of item boxes or places that you need to get to, and it causes a distraction. Honestly, this is better than the small Babomb. I'm gonna put it in B tier. It's a good item to have, and it's really good. That being said, I'm gonna move Mushroom up to B tier as well, only because it is a mushroom and everybody loves mushrooms. Alright, Coin, C tier. Why? Because it's not that great of an item. Actually, maybe D tier, because I'd rather have the Super Horn than the coin. The only thing that has going for it is because it's a coin. It gives you money, that's about it. Ice Flower. Take the Fire Flower, but instead of killing people, it freezes them for a set amount of time, which is way better in my opinion. The best of the 3 Fire Flowers, instantly a B tier because of that. Yeah, B tier. Alright, Invisible Missile, A tier. It's better than most of these missile items. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna say S tier. Why S tier? Not A tier. It's S tier because it shoots one missile, yes, but it's invisible, which really doesn't add much, but it catches people off guard, and the best part is it doesn't explode unless it touches somebody, which makes it one of the best items in the game, because there's no missing with this thing. Power block, S tier. Yeah, it'll stay in S tier for now. S tier because all it does is it messes everybody up and it slows them down and it stops them in place for a good 2 to 3 seconds. Other than that, nothing really exceptional. Let's move on because the lightning is better. Alright, red shell. Red shell does pretty much the average. You throw it, it shoots at somebody, it hits them. Yeah, it's C tier. It's not impressive, but it's not disappointing. Water rocket though, water rocket, that might be the worst item ever. Maybe, possibly. Why? Because it just, it disappoints. You only get to use it on one mode. It would be so nice to see it in another mode because it doesn't blow you up, but it doesn't blow your opponents up. So it is what it is. I'm gonna say F tier because at least it has some use. At least it has some use. Albeit it doesn't have a lot of uses. So F tier. Fake coin. Fake coin is high B tier. Why is it high B tier? So a lot of SRK players love grabbing coins, and with the coin limit, you know, you want as many coins as you can get each race so you get more cars faster. With this fake coin, it got an indirect buff in that sense, where people, if they see a coin, they'll automatically grab it, or they'll at least think about grabbing it. So they go ahead and pick it up for themselves, only to get blown up. That is better than probably most of the items that you can drop behind you, maybe even the bombs, for that one reason, because it's not even the bombs that get you, it's the greediness. I just love the idea behind it. Frenzy block, or whatever it's called. Frenzy block. See, this item is really good provided you grab it yourself. So instant S tier, you get a free speed boost and you get a bunch of items to spam. The reason it's not too high on the S tier list is because it can range from Frenzy Nuke, Ziki Bomb Nuke, all the way down to Banana Nuke and Great Missile Nuke. Disgusting, that nuke. That nuke is horrible. The missile is horrible, not the nuke. The nuke's good. Okay. Instant A tier is the green mushroom. It's not as high as the chain chomp because it does what the chain chomp does, but it doesn't hurt people when you run into them. So there it will stay pretty at A tier. Feather. Feather has some uses, not too many. I'm gonna say B tier. Because you can use it to reach a couple of places, to avoid items, to jump over items, to get to the items. It has some uses. You can use it for shortcuts, things like that, but not overall, not too crazy. Banzai Bill. Banzai Bill is probably one of the worst items to use because you can see it coming and it's not really that big of a deal. I'm gonna put it in D tier only because it has some uses, but you rarely get hit by it. And if you get hit by it, kind of sad. The Ink Strike. The Ink Strike is better than the Banzai Bill, but not too better. It has some uses, but overall it is probably a decent C tier. Yeah, Red Shell, you're going to the top of C tier. Well, actually, no, you're gonna stay right there. I'm gonna leave it right there for now. The Super Hammer. The Super Hammer is an instant S tier right above the POW block. Why? Because you use the hammer and it knocks everybody back a ridiculous amount. So on stages where there's a big gap between you and the land and you can fall off and die, like Neo Bowser City when you're doing the turns, or Maple Treeway, things like that, it just decimates everybody around you, and that makes it a really good weapon for that specific reason. Alright, Now that we got that one out of the way, the Booyah Bomb. The Booyah Bomb isn't good. Let's be real here. The Booyah Bomb isn't the best item, but it's not the worst item either. Solid D tier. Fire Flower. It's just a fire flower. It's pretty basic, pretty average, but it falls short in some categories, so C tier. Bullet Bill. Bullet Bill is an instant A tier for a couple reasons. You have a smaller hitbox, and you control it a little bit better than you do the chain chomp, so A tier. Alright, Ba-Bomb is just the throwable green shell that does explosive damage on impact. It has a farther radius than the black shell, so C tier. Mini Mushroom. The Mini Mushroom could have been so good. It could have been one of the best items in the game, but sadly it's not. It's just a decent item, but it's not that good. I will give it a C tier. It's not the best speed item. Actually, it's the worst speed item. It's worse than the mushroom. Well, yeah, it's worse than the mushroom, but I'd rather have it than a lot of things. I'd rather have it than most of the things on this list, so it'll stay pretty at C tier for me. Now, the Tornado, on the other hand. The Tornado is an instant S tier. It is the best drop behind you item in the game. Why? Because you drop it behind you, and it just... nobody knows where the hitbox is. I don't know where it is. So you run the risk of, okay, I can go through here, but I might die or I might get stopped. So you run the risk, and most of the time when you hit a tornado, it devastates you because it knocks you backwards, and then you try going again and it knocks you backwards again, and you see where I'm going with this, right? It's just a never-ending loop. So it'll sit pretty at S tier. Banana. Not the worst, but not the best either. Had its job. I'd rather take Double Bomb over it, so C tier is where it'll sit. The Red Spiky Shell, probably one of the best shell games in the item. Yeah, no, in the game. So I'm gonna put it as A tier, right above the Missile Bill, because it hits its target 9 times out of 10 versus the 8 times out of 10 with the Missile Bill. Boo. I never really see Boo being used, but then again, he's a ghost. I don't really see him, so I know he steals items, but I can't bring myself to do more than C tier. Bowser Shell. It's better than the black shell because it has a bigger radius. Other than that, nothing too crazy. I think it explodes at the end. It has a decent frenzy too. The frenzy's pretty decent. The big Nuke Shell. The Nuke Shell is an instant A tier, just above the Yoshi Egg, because it is a big explosion. It does a lot of damage. It has the nuke effect, and its only flaw is that it has the circle around animation, but it still does the big boy damage there. Alright, Golden Chain Chomp. I don't know if y'all saw this coming, but it is an S tier. I'd rather have it than most items on this list. Yeah, that's where it'll sit. It is a good S tier item. Instant S tier item there. It does everything the Chain Chomp does, but faster. I think for a bit longer or shorter, one of the two. Regardless, it's still better because it's faster. It does more over time than it does with the regular Chain Chomp. So there it'll sit. It's not as good as the Rainbow Star though, because the Rainbow Star does last longer. So that's fine with me. Alright, Purple Shell. Purple Shell throws the red shell. It's like a red shell. Actually, it's kind of like a gold shell, but it drops a gold shell. So it is a decent B tier item. I'd use it a lot if I could. Green Shell. Green Shell is a D tier. Not that good of an item. It does some decent snipes though. Don't get me wrong. If you can line up your shot, you can get a decent sniper too. I think I've gotten some in the past, but nothing too crazy there. Missile. Oh my god. This thing is horrible. You can come out of F tier, but not for long. Missile is the worst item in the game. At least with the explosion, you have a radius and you can use it, and there are places where you can use it where it doesn't harm you, versus the missile. It's so hard to shoot that most of the time when you use it, you end up hurting yourself. Its frenzy is horrible. If you're gonna spam the item, you're gonna hurt yourself, and you're not even gonna use the frenzy speed boost. It's just not worth your time. Worst item ever. Alright, so the question block, or the fake item block. Honestly, it is a D tier item. Yeah, D tier. It's so easy to detect. They could have made it so good. If they would have made it look like the frenzy block item, people would run into that all the time. So that would be a good idea. If you're listening, Gotan, or anybody who works on the game, that would be a good idea. Making it look like the frenzy item block so people get confused more easily. That would make it an instant A tier at least. That would probably make it the best fake item in the game. Alright, Orbital Flute. It's just the worst Banzai Bill, but you trade out speed for longevity. Other than that, I think that a bigger radius with the longer cooldown, depending on how far ahead you are, is a good idea. You could drop it somewhere where you know people are going to be, like a good corkscrew, and it messes with people. So it'll just sit at D tier, but just ahead. It's because of Banzai. The Jumbo Bomb, honestly, B tier. It's better than the feather. You throw it, it explodes. I honestly forgot. Oh, Jumbo Bomb. Jumbo Bomb is a B tier. It's better than the feather. You throw it, it has a big radius, it blows up. It's a good item. It's a better black shell. It's a B tier. Alright. So Golden Hammer. They nerfed this thing to the ground. That's how much they nerfed it. It's better than the Black Hammer, but it's not better than a lot of items. It still has some worth though, so it'll say it's C tier. Before the nerf, I would have said B tier, but they nerfed it pretty decently. Pretty fair. So, the best stop item, in my opinion, might be the Tripmine. At first, I hated it. I wanted to throw it in D tier. I did throw it in D tier for a little bit. But I've learned to respect it and kind of encourage using it more. Because while it is small, it does have a decent radius and it does good damage. It blows you up and it stops you from racing for a little bit, which is what you want. It stops the opponent if they're trying to go after something. So you can't see it. It goes invisible. So if you don't see it and you go around the lap and you don't remember, you're done. Nuke Orb, actually. Nuke Orb is an instant B tier. It's an instant B tier. It's probably better than most of the items. Only nitpick is it can bounce between player to player, and if you're not lucky, it'll just end you. I think if the player holds it for a certain amount of time above their head, it explodes. Because sometimes it'll last for minutes on end, and then sometimes it'll last for like 2 seconds. So, B tier. Ziki Bomb, S tier. Why? Besides being the goofiest bomb you've ever seen, it blows up and then it drops a bunch of little mini bombs all over the map. So in certain areas, you can have a huge pull away if you drop it in front of like a small area that people can't drive through. So they have to wait for the explosion. Alright, Winged Spiny Shell. That is an A tier item. It's not crazy, but it gets the job done. It goes after somebody, it blows up, it's good. It's better than most of these items here. Alright, getting into the final four, we have the Golden Mushroom. The Golden Mushroom is an instant S tier. It's better than most of the items on this list for one simple reason. If you have a... Alright, let me put it to you in this perspective. It's one of the best items for speed boost for a couple reasons. If you go over a speed boost, you can still keep pressing it. Because it's like if you had a lot of mushrooms. So you never really lose the speed boost in the end. Lightning, guess what? You have the speed boost, so you're back to normal. Ziki Bomb, guess what? You could speed boost, you're back to normal. Anything. Even the Mega Hammer. The Mega Hammer is probably the only thing that weakens it, but it doesn't even weaken it completely. So for that, S tier instantly. Eggs. Alright, eggs. You guys can suck on my eggs, because it's going in A tier. It has, I think, a few better items, and it's a bit faster. That's about it, really. Same item, different day. Blooper, F tier. Sorry, guys, it is F tier. Not good. It's the worst of the items you drop behind you, because all it does is it blinds somebody, and nobody's gonna pass up on a double item block because they got bloopered. It's fun using them though. Alright, and the last item, the star. The star is probably the most well-rounded. It does its job decently, but not too greatly. I'd rather have a couple of things, but most of the speedy items I'd rather have, so it'll sit at A tier. This is my list right now. I'm about to go through and edit it a little bit with you guys, so let's start. I will not move the missile from the worst item ever, because at least the water rocket has some use, and it's slightly better than Camozombie 15. Ouch. So, explosion, that's good. Blooper, that's good. I'm gonna move the hammer down to F tier, because it really just, it isn't that good. The Booyah Bomb, I can't. I have to move it down to F tier. I can't live with it. I will move the hammer back up to D tier, because you can mess people up with it. But the Booyah Bomb, you're more likely going to hit yourself than hit others. I've seen it do good chains, but other than that, it's just not good. Coin, I'm going to move down to F tier, just above the water bottle rocket. Tenta missiles, I'm going to move to the back. Banzai Bill's fine. Green Shell, I've seen snipes with it. I like it. The question mark block is okay. The Boo can go to D tier, because I honestly don't know what it does. Other than that, this looks like a pretty solid tier list. I'd rather have the golden hammer and that than the banana. Honestly, if I had a choice between most of these items, I'd pick the top. That's how I'm kind of going based off of this. So Ziki Bomb is better than the Tornado. Power Block's pretty decent, but I wouldn't have it too much. Honestly, it's better than most of these items. Yeah, this looks pretty solid for a tier list. So, top 10 items. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so I think that the missile is number 10 on this list. But other than that, this looks about solid enough. I feel like I'm forgetting something, because I feel like something's missing here. Other than this, it looks like I should just move this down to C tier just a little bit, because these are the average items. These are the items that if you get them, it's not that big of a deal, but it's not that bad. So worst item ever, if you use it, just shoot it away from you, please. F tier, they're bad. D tier, they're kind of good, but they're not that great. C tier is average. You can use them. They're usable. B tier is getting good. They're pretty decent. I would recommend if you use them well. A tier, these are some of the top tier items. S tier, yeah. And then best item ever, I'm standing firm with my choice here. It is probably the best item in the game. You just get to go on speed boost for so long, and I think it is longer than the golden chain chomp. That's the only thing I like, because you have a longer chance of hitting people, and you get a little bit more speed at the end. So honestly, I would pick that over that, because if you go over a speed boost with both of those, you still have the star for longer, and it's easier to run into people. So for that, and because it doesn't mess up your shirt, I know, kind of dumb idea, but I like that. So best item ever. What do you guys think of my tier list? Leave a comment down below if you hated it, loved it, what? Egg Gang, rise up. We got it to A tier, baby. Both of them are in A. Other than that, let me guys know what you think in the comments, and thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.